everyone, this is Gary with your cards of the day on this May 1st day. I want to wish you all a happy May Day and blessed Beltane. And today we have 4 card decks. We have the Tarot of the Northern Shadows, we have the Norse Tarot, we have the new Mythic Tarot, and we have my own Greek Oracle deck. And as I was shuffling the Tarot of the Northern Shadows today, we had a jumper card. So what I felt drawn to do was to even the balance up by pulling an additional card from the new Mythic Tarot. And what I'm also drawn to do, once again, is to look at the energies of these cards using my pendulum. Now, today, I'm using my brass, it's copper. You can see the colour of that. My copper spiral pendulum, which is very good at conducting energy. So I'm just going to place it over each card and see what it wants to do. Okay, over the first card we have it circling clockwise, which feels to me like a sort of masculine energy, a sort of beginnings, moving forward kind of energy. As soon as I move to the second card, it just goes straight forwards and backwards, but it's very strong. So this feels like a sort of holding position to me. I come to the third card, and it's changed direction again. This time it's going side to side, which feels like a sort of a balanced and a grounding energy. Moving to the fourth card, and it immediately goes into an anti-clockwise direction, which feels like a feminine energy here. The fifth card, and again we have that very strong forwards and backwards sort of stationary movement. And then our final card, and we go into circular motion yet again. So, the first card we have is the Page of Discs. Now this is a masculine energy, it's also an energy of beginnings. What I'm very drawn to here is the fact that we have this young page who has these little horns, and actually behind him we have what could in actual fact, if he is not entirely of the human species, it could be that what we have behind him is an elder who also has horns, but these are considerably larger here, if you can see that. And I'm also extremely drawn to this little item that he's holding here, which reminds me of 3 of the chakras: the root, the solar plexus, and the crown, possibly, or the third eye. It certainly is a lower chakra, a middle chakra, and a higher chakra. And it's upside down, which is the position adopted by the Hanged Man for gaining wisdom. So there definitely feels like a gaining in knowledge in this card today. It's like you start to understand something that previously seemed a mystery, or it didn't make sense. Finally that sort of starts to make sense. And I'm also, again, I'm very drawn to this figure in the background, as if this is some kind of a guide, or somebody who is offering clarity to you, and you're starting to hear them finally. So that's very much the feeling I get with this card. Our second card today is one that we actually had yesterday as well. This is the 9 of Wands, and this is very much again a feeling of not really moving forwards. It's kind of being stationary, being solid, being grounded, being supported in the background here by other there's other warriors in the background of this card, and it's having that sort of support network. Once again, that's very, very important to us. So this rather feels like we're not again today going to make massive strides forward, but again we have that support and that solidity behind us. But also I'm very drawn to his red cloak today and the sort of the yellow at the base of it, which does make me feel like we have a lot of drive and passion and energy today. Our third card for the day is the Ace of Pentacles. Now again, this came up as a circling clockwise kind of moving energy, and this again echoes the sort of page message of that acquisition of some knowledge or some understanding. It's almost as if this character here, who is actually in the water, and it's almost as if he's sort of, in fact, as I look at this, I'm just being drawn to the fact he actually has a merman's tail. So this makes me think of one of the sort of the Greek titans of the sea, and he's diving down, and he's dived, and he's pulled up this jewel here, which is this pentacle. So it's almost like, again, it's that aha moment of, but in this case as well, it's almost diving down into your emotions to understand something. So you're understanding things on an intellectual level, but here you're understanding them on an emotional level as well. And our third card for today, the jumper card. Oh, and there we have it. There's the female energy. This is the Queen of Rods. Now, this is the nurturing, gentle energy that we have with us. The intuition. I'm very drawn to the crescent moon here. So this is the intuition. And also, I'm quite drawn in this card to the rune around her neck, which is the rune of Peorth, and this is a rune of luck. It represents a dice cup, so it's almost, in a sense, chance or fortune being with us today. So it does feel like today may actually be quite a lucky day for us. Now, the card that we have from my own oracle deck I actually had backwards, and here it is, and this is Sigma, and the message says, Apollo speaks plainly, stay. The feeling here again is one of not being able to move forwards, not being able to really get a great deal of physical progress, but perhaps in this particular instance what I'm feeling is it's not necessarily something that we want is to move forward. We're in a place where we're, to be honest, reasonably happy. You know, it's not necessarily something that we have to get out of. We feel quite sort of content to be where we are today. And our final card of the day is the King of Wands. So we actually have both the Queen and the King, and this is the control element. This is being sort of in charge, having that fire and that determination and willpower and inspiration as well, but being in control of our own destiny. There's a slight sort of echo of payoff there, in the sense that to some extent you can make your own luck. And with the King of Wands here, this really does feel like us making our own opportunities and really having control in our own hands today. So if we look at these 6 cards together, they tell quite an interesting story. We have the Page of Discs, giving us that beginnings of insight on an intellectual level, beginning to hear from our guides clearly, and also inverting ourselves, in other words, keeping ourselves in a stationary position so we begin to understand and acquire knowledge. We have holding our ground, being firm and solid in the 9 of Wands, and also having the support around us today. We have the Ace of Pentacles, showing us from an emotional standpoint that we begin to understand things. We begin to ground emotionally as well and be more balanced. You remember the energy was very balanced there. So what we have is that that sort of balancing out of our emotions. Then we have the Queen of Wands, giving us that nurturing, that gentle energy, but also insight as well, and luck. We have Sigma, reminding us to stay where we are. You know, we don't necessarily have to move forward if we feel happy and comfortable where we are at. And we have the King of Wands with his control and his strength and really having his own destiny in his hands so that he calls the shots. So I hope you've enjoyed these cards of the day. Please feel free as always to leave me some comments and let me know how these factors engage with your life today. Did you feel grounded and comfortable in where you are and who you are? Were your emotions more balanced today? And did you learn some things that perhaps you were unaware of before? I'd like to wish everyone a wonderful rest of your day. Have a fantastic day, be it afternoon or evening or whatever time you're watching this video. As always, it is lovely to hear from you, and I am very grateful for your support and for you watching these videos on YouTube and elsewhere. And I want to wish love, light, blessings and faith to you all.